Hi everyone! In this video, I'd like to work through a couple of examples of solving literal equations. It's basically solving formulas for specific variables. And in this case, I've picked a couple of geometry formulas since we're working on some geometry as well right now. Although these are for some weird 3D shapes, so they might not look quite so familiar. All right, so basically the rules are all the same as they would be for any other equation. And these are all, even though they might look scary, going to act just like a linear equation. So the key with the literal equations with the formulas is just to really stay focused on what it is you're solving for. In this first formula, we have V equals 1/2 LWH. So in this case, we're supposed to solve for W. So I would look at that as a 1/2 times L times W times H, which means we need to get rid of all three of those things that I just said. You could technically do this all in one step, but I'm going to split it up into two. I'm going to first say, let's get rid of the fraction because that can cause a little trouble. So just like I would for linear equations, let's multiply both sides by 2. And on the left, the 2's cancel out, so I end up with 2V equals LWH. And now I need to figure out how to detach the L and the H. So again, kind of key in that is recognizing this is all multiplication. If L and H are both attached to W by multiplication, to eliminate them, we would use division. So we divide both sides by LH. And I'm going to flip-flop order here and say W equals, there's my W, 2V over LH. And it's completely fine to have all sorts of variables on the opposite side as long as W isn't on both sides. You need to have a single W and it needs to be isolated. So that would be our final answer. And then example 2 is just slightly messier. It's got an extra step in there. So we're trying to solve for H. So again, always focus on what's my variable and just treat everything else as if it was a number. So you can imagine, okay, what if S was 1? What would I have to do? So here, I need to get rid of the 4s and the 2s squared. When you're solving, you're going to reverse order of operations. So while addition and subtraction would usually be last, we get rid of it first. So I'm going to subtract the 2s squared. Let me eliminate those lines from both sides. So again, that squared might look a little tricky, like you need to use some quadratic thinking. But you don't. This is just linear. We will work on quadratics shortly. And then the next step is to say, okay, I am solving for H, so I need to detach the 4s. That's multiplication. So to remove the 4s, I will divide both sides by 4s. And you really do have to divide everything over here by 4s. You can't just divide the 2s squared or just the a. And all that leaves me with is H. And again, this is a perfectly good answer. Make sure you didn't accidentally leave an H on both sides. That wouldn't be solved. But I did not. So don't worry about doing a ton of simplification on those answers. Just about doing those solve steps to solve for whichever variable we need. And we'll come back to literal equations multiple times this quarter. But this is just kind of your reminder about the basics. Thanks for watching.